All right, in this video, we're going to go over all the different fireplace types and how to use the different parameters for each one. Let's start with maybe the less complicated ones. That would be the two fire pits. There is nothing that's not really that straightforward here. Both of them allow you to decide what you're showing inside as the fire media. So right now we've got fire spheres showing those kind of concrete balls. And if we click on it and come over here to the instance parameters, you can see you can show logs and uncheck the spheres, and it'll trade it out for a pile of logs. Or you can uncheck both and you can just leave it blank. So depending on how you're rendering it or what you want to show in 3D, you can adjust that a little bit. And then the concrete spheres, if you show them, you are able to change the material for the spheres. The logs are a little bit more complicated because they have different material types and stuff on them, so that is not parametric immediately. You would have to edit the family a little bit to get that changed. All right, then if you go to the type parameters, you've got diameter, height, and then the thickness around the rim. So if we wanted this to be 2 inches thick, we could put in 2 inches, hit apply, and you'll see it gets a little thinner around the edge. And then how deep the pit is. So if we wanted it to be less deep, only 2 inches deep, you'll see that raises that up. Well, let's click OK. And you can see it raised up. So that's the fire pits. Both of them work the exact same way, except for on the rectangular one, instead of diameter, you get a width and a length parameter. But other than that, they act pretty much the same. The next kind of grouping are the gas inserts. So these are more of a modern day version of a fireplace, and depending on what product you're using, these are based on a real product, and this product usually comes with a frame, but it also comes in a version with no frame. So let's just pick this one for example. You can shut the frame off if you want, and you get a very modern look. So it's basically the drywall comes right up to it, or you can turn the frame back on, and then just like the fire pit, you can pick to show fire spheres or nothing, or logs. So you can pick what you want there and put the spheres back on. Then in addition to that, you can change the material of the frame, the fire spheres, or not the fire spheres, yes, but then the burning media. And the burner media is what's at the bottom. It's this bottom piece right here. So if you did pick to show nothing in there, there's still this bottom that you could turn to gravel or broken glass, fire glass, whatever you want. All right, now let's just take a minute. That was the instance parameters. Let me go through the type parameters. There is everything you would expect under dimensions with height, depth. You can pick how wide the frame is if you're showing the frame. And then there's a burner box underneath this fireplace. And it's not going to affect much on the outside of the fireplace, but if you're cutting a section through it, or if you're trying to show accurately a product that you're using, you can change the size of this box that's underneath with the burner in it. You can change your flue diameter connection and your gas connection diameter if you are connecting these to anything mechanical in Revit. Another thing you can do is there are a couple materials that are type parameters that you can change as well. So the whole fireplace, and then the glass that covers the front of the fireplace you can change. And then under graphics, you can show the label. So this is in floor plan. So let's take a look at this in floor plan. You can see everything has a label, and it's just, for now, it's FP for fireplace. But if you come in here, you can turn the label off and not show anything. So if we take a look there, so you can show nothing, or you can change what it says. So we'll turn it back on, and we can change this to fireplace if we'd like. It just depends on what scale your floor plan is and if a whole word fits, or maybe an abbreviation is more appropriate. Then the final thing you'll want to know about is, if we click on the fireplace, Revit always had, typically with families that you place, it has an elevation setting. So if we go back into 3D, oops, go to fireplaces. You can see right now the elevation of this fireplace is 1 foot off the ground. We could put it to 2 feet, or we could put it to 0 and put it right on the ground. And then we're going to go back to level 1, and something you'll want to keep in mind is sometimes it's possible that the fireplace will disappear, and that is because maybe your fireplace is only 2 feet tall and it's only a foot off the ground, so the head height of your fireplace is only 3 feet, but the cut plane in Revit is, typically by default, it's at 4 feet. So what would happen is, let me show you, I'm going to put this to 0. Oops, I'm going to put this to 1. So what would happen in this instance is it's not going to show the fireplace cutting through the wall, because you're up at, our view is cutting the model at 4 feet, but the fireplace is below that. So in order to help that and to make it look like you would expect it to look, even though we're not cutting through the fireplace, we need to tell Revit, the view, to still show it as if it's being cut. So in order to do that, we click on this, and there's an instance parameter here, and it's called floor plan detection, and it'll basically detect it up to 1 foot above the fireplace. So right now, we're still not high enough, so I'm just going to put this to 5 feet, and that'll definitely push the family. There's like a little invisible line that pushes up into the cut plane, and once it hits the cut plane of the view, it now displays properly. So that is a setting you're going to want to be familiar with, so that things display how you would expect them to. Or if you had a level that was kind of cut funny and you needed the fireplace to show, but the level was even higher, you can just extend that up and it'll it'll cause it to look correct in floor plan. All right, so now that we've gone through the gas inserts parameters, let's just talk about the different flavors of gas insert that you get. I tried to think of everything, and I looked through manufacturers' websites to kind of provide everything that's out there on the market. So there's something called a bench, which basically this is a gas insert. It just doesn't have a hood above it, and it's usually for outdoors, but there are maybe some indoor instances, but you'd have to have probably a hood up high somewhere. Then there's what's called an island. So you basically, all four sides are open, but it's still enclosed, and there's a hood in the top, and there's glass all around. Then we have what's called a peninsula. So that's open on three sides. It's kind of meant for a wing wall. And then there's what's called a bay insert. So again, open on three sides, but is meant to be for like a pop out. Then there is just your traditional, this is 90% of the time what people are using. It's just a normal gas insert. Then there's a through wall, which we call two-sided. So that just pops through the wall. And then there is a corner gas fireplace, which is what it sounds like. So one thing to note is, let's look at this in plan. I'm going to delete the one that goes through the wall, and I'm going to delete the corner. So when you go to place these, we're going to find our gas insert that's two-sided, and we'll just do this one. So what's going to happen is I'm going to place my fireplace, and you're going to see it automatically places it down low. So I'm going to put it 1 foot off the ground, and then it's not cutting through the wall yet. So let's look at level 1. And the depth of this fireplace is an instance parameter. The width and the height are type parameters, but the depth is an instance. So we can either measure manually what the depth needs to be from this wall to this wall, or there's this little drag, or you can align it. So I'm just going to align this to this frame, and it will stretch it automatically. So now if we look in 3D, you can see the frame's gone through the wall, but it's not cutting the wall. Revit won't allow me to cut through two walls automatically, so you now have to tell it to cut through the wall. So you do this with on the Modify tab, there is a cut feature. And if you do the drop down, it's called cut geometry. So you click that. And what you do is you click first the thing you want to be cut, and then the next thing you click is the tool or the thing that's doing the cutting. So we want to cut the wall, so we pick it first. And we want the fireplace to cut the wall. That's the tool, so we'll click that. And then it cuts automatically through the wall for you. So you don't have to mess around with editing the wall profile or anything, or trying to put an opening in the wall. The family will do it for you, but you just need to tell it to cut. Okay, for some reason the exception is all of the other types will just automatically cut the surrounding walls. Like, for example, the Peninsula, it does cut the other side of the wall, and I think it's because all three of these walls are joined, and so Revit sees them all as one object. So let me show you that on the corner. Let's go back to level 1. We'll place a fireplace, and we'll type in corner. So here I'm going to place this fireplace, and I'm just going to align it at the corner. And you'll see that it automatically cuts this wall here. And the Peninsula does the same thing. It cuts all three walls. So let's just move this up to 1 foot off the ground. And there we go. Now you've placed your corner. All right, so that's how you use the gas inserts. Now let's talk about the pre-built fireplace. Like, these are the assemblies. This is for a traditional fireplace. It comes in 4 flavors. 2 that are gas version, and 2 that are masonry surround. So they're meant for real wood, or they could still also be a gas. But this is a more traditional fireplace built with masonry, so things can truly be combustible in there, whereas these 2 are just a gas. And then there is, in the gas version, there's your traditional kind that doesn't go through the wall, and then there's your two-sided one that comes through both sides of the wall, and you get that in the masonry and in the gas. So these fireplaces are great because they come with the mantle and the hearth, so you don't have to try to, because I think what often happens is you have to place the fireplace, so just the insert. Then you have to go find a mantle family and place the mantle. And then if you want a hearth, you either have to find a family or custom build the hearth. So we've tried to provide everything you need all in one spot. So let's go through the parameters. Some of them are already familiar to you. If you click on this, you can see you can show logs, or you can show the fire spheres. So we'll show logs here. And if you do it on the masonry ones, it'll do it a little more true to life. So we'll turn the logs on and turn off the spheres. You get the grate that they usually sit on so that air can be sucked up through there. Typically in gas, they don't do that because the logs are fake and they're covering the burners for the gas. But either way, the same options are there as far as whatever you want to put inside there, or just leave it blank. You can also just leave it blank. All right, then let's look through everything else. In floor plan, let's take a look at these. The masonry, you can turn on the combustible clearance, and you can change this clearance, but each fireplace manufacturer kind of tells you don't put combustible material within a certain distance. And I based this again off of a real life product. And so I've put in the default combustible clearance, but you might want to change it. So if that is the case, you can change the clearance here. So if we wanted 3 inches away, we can move that clearance to 3 inches away, and you can shut it back off when you're done doing your designing if you don't want it to display in your floor plan. All right, let's go back to 3D. Now let's talk about some of the other visibility settings. We'll click on that, and then you can decide how much of a hearth you want to show. You can not show a hearth, and it'll completely disappear like that. And the fireplace just sits right on your floor, or you can always move it up a foot if you'd like. It can be sitting in the wall. Or you can show a hearth, but not, so if I turn the hearth back on, it shows the hearth and the raised portion of the hearth. But if you just want a hearth sitting on the floor, but no raised portion, you can turn off the raised hearth. So if you uncheck that, it just puts a hearth right on the floor. That's also pretty common. So both of these are pretty common arrangements. And then you can decide maybe you do want the mantle, maybe you don't. So if you have your own mantle that isn't really compatible with ours, but you love that family and you want to use it, you can just shut our mantle off, and then everything goes blank, and you can just have the insert. You can even get rid of the hearth if you want. So this is truly just a stripped down, that's just the masonry portion of the fireplace. So we'll turn the hearth back on in the mantle. Then the next thing you can do, so right now, by default, the fireplaces only come with one mantle. The purpose of this pack wasn't to give you a bunch of options on styles for the mantles. It's just to give you a bunch of fireplace options. But if you do want more options for the mantles, if you go to our finished carpentry product line, if you buy and download those come with a bunch of mantle families, and you can load them into the project and change out the mantle. So I'll show you that in a later video. But you can also change the mantle style. And then we already talked about logs and fire spheres. So the next thing you can do, the next section would be materials and finishes. Everything you can think of, you can change the material. So you can go through those and take a look. All right, then the next section would be dimensions. So you can change the width of the hearth. So if you want to change it to 7 feet, we can make it wider. The hearth depth, if we want it to be just a little bit deeper, we can change that. The thickness, maybe we want like a 3-inch thick. Like it's a nice big chunk here. It's a heavy hearth. And then if we turn on the raised hearth again, we can change its height. So we could change it if we wanted like 2 feet off the ground, you could do that. And then the hearth overhang, just this little edge. If you don't like the 1/2 inches that we have, maybe you want a full inch or something, that will offset the raised portion 1 inch. And then again, in floor plan, there is this floor plan detection, and we already went over what that does. But if it's not showing up correctly because it's too far below your cut plane in your view, you can raise the floor plan detection dimension, and it should fix it. Okay, so those are all your instance parameters. If we click on this and do edit type, what you have for your type parameters are some that you should be familiar with now, we already went over, which is to show the label and then change the label. So this is in floor plan, what you'll see. And then you can change the actual opening width and height of the fireplace and the depth of the fireplace. And then come your mechanical options. So your connection for your flue and your connection. Oh, sorry. And then the surround width. That one's a little bit different. Let me show you what that does. So your surround width is, there's this little piece right here okay, so if I shut off the mantle, there's the opening of the fireplace, but then because it's masonry, you've got this border all the way around it of the masonry. So you want something between your opening and the edge of the mantle. And so if we select this and go to the type parameters, that is what's called the mantle surround. So let's turn your mantle back on here. And right now it's 3 inches, so let's just put it at 1 foot and you'll see what it does. So we click OK. And that makes that little piece of trim that spans the opening to the mantle, that's now 1 foot. So we'll put it back at 3 inches and click apply. I'll shrink it back down. And then if you wanted to have clearance around the fireplace, you could have that. Like if you want the opening in the wall to be bigger than the actual masonry, for any reason, you can add a border around the whole thing to make the wall cut bigger than the fireplace insert. All right, so that's all of your parameters for the traditional kind of fireplace assembly. And then the last two miscellaneous are a parlor stove and then what they call a cone fireplace. And those, again, will have some familiar parameters. Let's just do the instant or the type parameters first. Your labels are still there, your width, height, and depth are there, and then your flue diameter is all still there. And then you've got some additional settings that are specific to the different styles. So here's let's look at the instant settings for the cone. You can decide if it's a wall flue. So right now, by default, it returns into the wall, but you could return it to the ceiling if you want. So it says ceiling flue here, just click that, and it then goes upwards. And then you can control, down here it says flue height. So you could do, if you had a 9-foot ceiling, you could take it up to 9 feet, and it'll go to 9. Then the other great thing is if you had a sloped ceiling, you can also make this sloped. So right here where it says rise over run, if you change this, if the rise changes from anything from 0, it'll slope it. So let's say it's a 4-inch rise over a 1-foot run. You can see it now goes with a slope. But say the ceiling sloped a different direction, you can also change the flue rotation angle. So right now it's 90 degrees. Let's put it at 0, and it'll turn it that way. So between that angle function, so I think if I remember right, the angle stops working at 180 degrees. So it'll do half of a circle rotation. And if you need the other half, then what you would do is in floor plan, you would just come here, you'd click on it and you'd flip it so that it was rotating the other direction. So it should be pretty easy. It should fit any rotation if you were gonna hang it from the ceiling. So let's put this back to 0. We'll get it flat again. And then the next option you have is to show the legs or not show the legs. So if you did want to hang it from the ceiling, like some of those 70s fireplaces, you can do that. And then you can turn the logs on and off. These don't have fire spheres because traditionally these are not something that would have a fire sphere in them. So that's not an option, but you can turn the logs on and off. Okay, and then the last thing is if you have it connected to the wall, you can tell it how far off the wall this fireplace is offset. So right now it's 4 inches off the wall. So that's the distance from the back of the round portion to the wall. If you wanted it further, you could do, let's do 1 foot. and it'll push that pipe back to 1 foot, extended from the back of the fireplace to the wall. Okay, and then the parlor stove has just almost the same settings. All right, so that's how you would use all the fireplaces. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, let me know. Happy modeling, guys.